So, why don't you just tell us where you got these videotapes from? Just tell us what they are.
We bought a video recorder. And that's when I had the first nightmare.
I don't think that you know what you're dealing with.
Give me that camera.
I started seeing these images. I recognized them.
Recognize them from where? Wanna tell me what's on this one?
Is that Beta?
Yup.
Nice.
VHS is back with the sixth film in the series, and if you follow the channel, you know I've done the series up to this point, and yeah, so I was very excited when they said, hey, VHS is actually back with VHS 85. Now, they said that this film was actually in production around the same time that they were doing VHS 99, which is the previous film they did. They said, like, yep, as post was finishing up on 99, they actually started pre-production on the next film. And so when I heard that, I was like, ooh, okay, like I'm pretty excited to see what they're going to do. Then the months went by, and then they said, oh, here's who we've got. And the directors in this one, we've got David Bruckner, and this is his return to the series. He helped do the first movie. We have Scott Derrickson, which if you've seen like Sinister and The Black Phone and Doctor Strange, you know how good he is. We have Gigi, Saul, Guerrero, who which I didn't really know, and then I looked up, and then she did some episodes of the Purge TV series, which I still have yet to see, but I've heard is pretty good. We have Natasha Kermani, who I've never heard of before, and also Mike P. Nelson, who I've never heard before either. But I was still excited to see what this was going to be about. And it being the sixth film in the series, and me personally, I didn't really care for 99. This was a big step up. This brought it back to, I think, like what I liked about VHS 94, where it was like I liked all the segments and I didn't like the wraparound. This one, I liked the wraparound and all but one of the segments, and I'll get to that in a sec. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that they think that this is one of the worst ones in the series, and I just went, have you watched VHS Viral? No? Okay, then shut it. But this movie, it starts out, the wraparound is done by David Bruckner, and it's basically about this documentary about a team of scientists at a university, and they're studying a kind of, I guess, like a shape-shifting being. And throughout the course of the film, more pieces of it get revealed and yada yada. To then our first segment is done by Mike P. Nelson, and it's about like some friends. They go off to go camp at a lake, and immediately I'm getting Friday the 13th vibes. So I'm going like, I really hope it's not like in the first movie where there was the one about the quote unquote friends that went to basically the woods and was pretty much almost like a Friday the 13th knockoff. But this one, no, it doesn't. And they all of a sudden, they get, let's say, visitors. Let's just say. And stuff transpires. And, well, stuff happens. To then, the next segment is done by Gigi, Saul, Guerrero. And this one is actually all in Spanish. And that's actually something I really like about the series, is that they actually branch out into not just other cultures, but also they allow international filmmakers to come in and do their own short. Like in VHS 2, they did the one where it was the Indonesian cult, and that segment in that one was actually my favorite one. And then in '94 there was there was one where it was focusing on a mad scientist who was trying to figure out life while like fusing machine and humans together. And then that one was international as well, and I think that one was actually my favorite segment in that one. So I like how the series, it keeps that going, and it's really cool the way they do it. And so this one is set about a news crew who is preparing like the news when all of a sudden an earthquake happens, and then it focuses on the cameraman being escorted by the rescue team, but then stuff transpires. So then the next segment is honestly my least favorite. It is about a performance artist basically putting on almost like a small little TED Talk show to like an audience in a theater, and she explains that like why technology can be a source to use with God. And this one was, I think this one was kind of plotting for time on this one, because there was a lot in there. Like the first like 10 minutes of this segment, I was going like, you can really like dial this back. Like you could have like done like, okay, da 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 da, and then boom, we're right into it. But no, it goes da 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 da, and then we're just gonna take a long pause, and then go da 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 da. That like long pause could have easily been edited out, and I think the pacing for this segment would have been a lot better. But especially I would give this one props. The end of this one was kind of like, all right, that was kind of cool. Like I didn't love it, but didn't hate it. It was just kind of like, all right, that was an okay one. And then this one was done by Natasha Kermani. So then the next segment, which is actually a first of the series, it is a kind of one that it's a wraparound of one of the first segment of this one, where Mike P. Nelson basically wrote two segments that actually correspond with each other. That's a first for the series, and I think the way they did it was really well done. And with that one, it's basically a family hosting a celebration for their daughter, and stuff transpires. And then the last segment, which is honestly my favorite, is done by Scott Derrickson. And you basically get this, there's this killer running around that uses the Super 8 films that like a lot of like what Derrickson films do, like Sinister, Black Phone, and films his kills. Pretty gross, actually. It's pretty gross. To then the police, they find a kid that is dropping the videotapes of this killer who's recording the kills, and they pick him up and they go like, well, what are you doing? It's like, actually, they all connect with dreams that I'm having. And as the segment goes on, it's like, ooh, this is actually kind of cool. And this is like really, really cool. And also the wraparound too. I like how after each segment it gets more and more intense than the last part you saw, and then by the end you're just like, well, that sucks. And it was definitely a breath of fresh air, because personally I did not care for VHS 99, because in all the segments, I'm like, okay, I like it, but you're doing something in here that is pulling me back, and I'm not enjoying it all that much. This brings it back. And yeah, I personally think that this is one of the better ones of the series. I would say my favorite one is still stands. It's 2. And then I would say 2 is still my favorite. I would probably put this one either maybe third, because I did like thoroughly enjoy 94, because 94 was the first film we got in like a long time, and it was just like, wow, I cannot believe they were able to come back and do this. I would say this goes in third place, and then it would be the first film, then it would be 99, and then last and definitely least would be Viral, because honestly, if Viral wasn't made, I'd be pretty happy about that. Overall, I think this was a really good film and a really good continuation of the series. I think it gets a great, in my opinion. And they did announce that they're doing a 7th film, and yeah, that it's currently in the works. And then I think they said it was probably going to be later next year, or maybe even 25, maybe. But the fact that this series can continue, and the way it's continuing is doing a really great job because of the premise it's set up. It can make more movies without getting dull, and I'm glad that this is basically a moneymaker for Shudder.
Where did you get those tapes?
You saw what's on them.